In this video, we're talking about CSS Clear Property. Okay, so I'll use floats to illustrate it. It will more clear if I use the floats to explain it. Okay, so let me create our HTML structure. Then inside our body elements, let me add let me say div, because I want to have it inside a div. Inside the div container, let div container. Then I will now add img image and add image dot slash this location. I want to make use of this one. Okay, now the next, now let me refresh. Okay, then the next thing I want to do now, I want to add text. I want to add let me use paragraph. Okay, instead of paragraph, let me use header 3, so it will be a little bit bolder. Let me say h3. Okay, then inside the h3, let me just generate random words. Let me just generate, say, something like 300 random words. Okay, it doesn't have any meaning anyway. So let me say lorem 300. So it generates a random 300 words for me. Okay, you can see that is all I have. I have 300 random words. Okay, now I have to rank, because I will write in the CSS code inside the CSS, inside my external CSS. So this is the best practice. Okay, so I will link it to my CSS. I will link my CSS external CSS to my HTML file. To do that, I will say link inside the link, inside the href. I will locate my CSS file. Is inside the CSS folder. Enter. Okay, I have now connected my CSS file, my external CSS, to my HTML. So I will now let me reduce the screen here. Okay, now what I will now do, let me start by using element selector. Okay, I'll use element selector image. In fact, I'll use almost element selector in all of them. Okay, so img, then open the creation block. Inside the creation block, I will say floats. Let me say float light. So it will come this side. So okay, I will say float right. Okay, you can see that it the float property then, and the value of right, shift the image to this side, and then this text come up here. The text fill up the other side of it. Okay, so in most cases this is not the best to me. If I don't want this text to be here, maybe depend on what you are building. If you don't want text to be by the other side of your floated image, you use a CSS clear property to remove those tests. What it will actually do, it will bring it down. It will bring the whole text down, and then this place will be empty. So to do that, we open what we use, the text element is header. Let me check. It's supposed to be header, is header 3 elements. Let's see. Yeah, it's header 3 elements. So use element selector header 3. So inside the header 3, we say hash 3. Let me give space here, so there will be enough space to differentiate them two. Then now open declaration block. Okay, inside the declaration block, I will now call the clear property. Say clear. Inside the clear, I will give it the image is in the left, so I will now use is in the right. Sorry, so I will now give it the same value of right. Say right. You can see what's happened now. It pushes the image, it pushes the text down. Then here is now empty. So that's what this CSS clear property does. Especially, it works mainly with floats. It can work in other places, but for this video, I use floats. Okay, so let me center this image in the center, just for the sake of this video. Let me just make the image to come to this. I want the image to be positioned in the center. So let me just use margin to do that quick. So I will give it a margin right. This is a light, so I will give a margin of, let's say, some pixels, so it will push it to left. Okay, let me say margin right Okay, the margin line, let me start by 20 pixels and see how it looks like. It's not good. Let me push it more. Let me say 40 pixels. Okay, since it's, let me just make it about 70 pixels. No, it's not 700, so 70 pixel. It's pushing it more. Let me do it, how about 80 pixels? How about 80 pixels? I think it's now position. Okay, let me make it 85 and see what it looks like. I think it's positioned in the center now. Okay, I just did it just for the convenience of this video. Okay, so this is how to use a clear property in CSS, especially with float. Okay, so with float to clear the text or anything within the side of the floated image. Okay, you can also replace this thing with an element. It will not be only image. Okay, let me also do that. So you not think that we do it with only image. Let me give more space to my HTML uh, space here. HTML file. Let me create this image. Let me remove this image and replace it with a text. Let me say div. Let me use a. What if I use? Let me use header one and say header one. Inside this header one, let me say something like let me use uppercase. Let me say about us. Let me use about us. This about us. Inside this about us, let me give it inline styling of. Let me forget about this inline styling, so it will not complicate what we are doing here. So here is about us. We are still seeing like this about us because we have put the clear here. Okay, what if we remove this? What if we let me remove this and see what happens? Let me remove this clear. It's supposed to float. Remember about floating? Okay, I put margin here. I put margin. Okay, what's happened? Let's see. It's supposed to float to the I'm supposed to put this thing inside the div, another div, not let me say div. Let me use lowercase div. Okay, then let me bring this thing inside. Or if at all self, I don't even need header try. Let me use only div to do it because it's making the code a little bit buggy. Let me say about. Let me use uppercase. Say about us. Okay. Okay. Supposed to see it up here. Why is it not showing me what I need to see? It's supposed to show me that. Okay. I think the issue is I'm not supposed to change this image. This is the image that I deleted. I'm supposed to use the div element selector here before this float we apply here. Okay, so let me do that. Let me clear this one and then say oh, there's another issue. I'm having a div. I'm having double div here. The one is the one containing the two div and the header tray. So what I will now do, I will now give this one class. Let me give it a class so it will be unique from the other one. Let me say class. Let me say div2. Div2. Let me use a lowercase. You can write anything you want. Let me just use div2. Okay, so it will be different from the main div container that is containing all of them together. Okay, so to make you to call this one, it will now be CSS. I will use CSS selector, no longer element selector. So I will now do dot div2, which I'm now targeting the div containing this about us. Okay, so inside I will now open a declaration block. Inside I will now do the float. First of all, let me increase the size of this about and add it color so it will stand out from the other text. Let me give it a font size first. Let me say font size of let me say 3em, 3em. So it's now a little bit bigger. Let me give it a color. Let me say a color of text color of let me give it blue and see how it looks like. Okay, I think it looks a little bit nice. Then let me give it let me also give it a border. Then let me say a border, give it a border of let me say one let me use 2.5 pixels, so it will not be too much. 2.5 pixel. Okay, and then let me make it a solid. Let me see, give it solid. How will it look like? Seems to be too much. It's too much, and it will interfere with what we are doing. So let me leave this border. It will interfere because it will not allow us to illustrate this floating. Instead, let me give it a background color. Let me get a background color of let me use aqua. Let me say that it has a decimal 00FF and see what it looks like. Still cover the whole screen. uh, Instead of doing this, let me just stop styling this background and just get to what I want to do. Let me remove this us here, so it will be only about. Okay, so it will be only about. So let me add that float. Let me say float. Let me say float. Inside this float, let me say float right. So it can float by the light. Okay, you can see that it's giving us that which we want. You can see now it floated to the right. Okay, so the reason why I'm going all this process is because I just want to illustrate that it's not only image that you can do the clear or the float with. You can actually do it with ordinary text. Okay, once it's an element. Okay, so as we have done this one now, let me also increase the font size to so it will be a little bit bigger. Let me say font size to 5 em. Yes, it's a little bit bigger now. Okay, now to use that CSS Clear Property, let's make use of the same. Let's make use of header 3 element selector here, h3. Then open a declaration block. Inside the declaration block, we'll call the clear property. We'll give it a clear property, clear. Then the text is located in the right, so I will give it a right value. You can see it will just push everything down. You can see that you push it down, so it also work with text. It's not only image. So I can just push this my text to the center. Let me say should I use text align? Let me see whether it will give me what I want. It's not going to work because this is a div. Let me make it let me use margin to push it to the center. Say margin right. What we use in the image, we use 85 pixels. Let me see whether that will work. 85 pixel. Okay, now I think it's in center, but it's not perfectly in the center. Let me make it 90. Let me make it 90. So I think it's in the center now. Okay, so this is how to do CSS Clear Property. Okay, so having seen all these things, it's not only image, you can also do it with text, any element at all. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you in the next video.